Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Adults Are Talking Guitar, a weekly show that we do here on Fridays at 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m. until we both get tired or we quit doing things online. It is clearly working because I can hear myself on the iPad, and obviously the volume doesn't work. Did you notice that the new iPads, like the iPad Air and stuff, they change how the volume buttons work?
No, I've
So
only got
now
an old one.
you're a blessed soul. Now what happens is so before it stayed static. Volume up was always on the up button and volume down was always on the down button.
Yeah.
But someone at Apple or someone said, oh, it would be great if the volume button is moved as you changed. So if it's vertical in portrait mode, up is up and down is down. But if it's in landscape, then right is up and left is down, inverting the buttons. And all those years of muscle memory are out the window.
So as this is clearly important, I have an iPhone 15 Plus here, and I'm just going to try that.
To see if they did the same.
Yeah,
Hey, Aaron, thank you so much
seems so.
for joining us live. And I've looked into ways to fix this, and there was a previous version of iOS that had undo button sort of thing, but not anymore. Not anymore. They decided that it's no longer a required feature. What does this have to do with guitars? Very little, but I thought it was important to share. How's your week been? Since we last, well, we haven't talked in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks,
2 weeks
here.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, obviously a lot offline. So yeah, busy old time. Back at work after a nice break, and yeah, not getting as much guitar time as I would like. So yeah, busy. What about you?
Yes, quite busy, but I had new guitar achievements unlocked. I got a new baritone, so last Saturday. You didn't mention it was in these 2 weeks. The next day, you kindly came up to Blackpool to see your relatives, and you
Yeah.
left me with the Duesenberg Les Tram, which I installed on my Eastman Juliet, and I instantly liked the look way more than what it was because of the curve and everything. But I've since removed it, and not just to
Yeah,
return
that
it.
surprised me. Yeah.
I think what it. I think no. What it was that. So I changed this now today because I found the Allen key required and I didn't know if I had one. Probably that should have been the first thing to do. It will be take
Yeah.
an Allen key and adjust, because the way that it was turn, so there was less action, so you could do the wobble, but I don't think it was a complete half step down, which I'm just a bit used now on the trams, on the Strats to do that. It's for no real musical reason. I just like at the end of a song or something just go. And I couldn't do that, and it was like it's hitting the guitar sort of thing in order to do it, and it affected the tuning stability. Like any tram guitar, if you detune something and then it's so it just did my head in. Did you have that same experience,
And that's
or was it me?
that's why I changed it to be shallower. So I know, like my old guitar teacher, he liked it as you have it with lots of action. I just found that I was knocking out of tune when I did that, which was way too often because it's cool.
It's
Um,
there. It's there to be used.
and so I made it shallower. But in fairness, as much as I think it's a great trem, I haven't used it for a while. I think once I do get it back, it's going to go on to my Les Paul-esque guitar,
Yes,
and try it out
live
again.
there.
But that's partly because I have another Les Paul that I can also use. But yeah, I was surprised he took it off quite so quickly, actually.
Yeah, it was only a few days. I've been trying to rethink the collection. I think the having only 5 spots on the wall um, really limits my ability to think of more guitars and what the guitars are doing. So I'm constantly evaluating, which is a good thing because it could be like, oh, it's like
Yes.
minimalist. But on the other hand, it's extremely straining mentally to always be thinking, oh, I have this, and now, but what guitar should be there? What if I need this? What if that? Which is often not the case. Like yesterday, I went to play. I did something that maybe it shouldn't be done, which is there's a jam night in St. Anne's at the place that is sort of like I don't even know, a recreational center. It's the Urban Arts Studio, because they have a little bar in the corner. It's a big room,
Okay.
and they have tables, but it's not quite a bar. It's not quite a pub. It's literally like a function room almost, on a back alley, and they had drums there, so me and Peter can go and jam.
Okay.
Also known as rehearse without paying for studio time.
Yeah. Studio time. Always good.
Exactly. And we have beer. They get happy because they sell beers, and we are happy because we don't have to pay for a studio to play the songs that we already practiced before. So we went at 7:30. We got there. We played for an hour because no one was there. It was only the bar staff, literally, and the security guard. And then we packed everything, put it in the car, drove to Lidham, which is 10 minutes further down south, unpacked everything, got into Marvin's Lidham, which is a bar, a cocktail bar that was having a gig, that was doing a gig, and played there. So yesterday I played sang for 3 hours, which probably wasn't the best idea. But what guitars did I take? You might ask. I took the Paisley, which is this
Okay.
one for the jam.
Yeah.
It's in standard, right? And I took the baritone.
Interesting.
And
And how are you finding the baritone now?
Just to finish, and then for the gig itself, I only took the acoustic guitar, no helix, no nothing, just acoustic mixer, microphone, and stand. And that's like, and the reality is, to gig, for anyone that was wondering, what's the gear requirement to gig? A guitar, a microphone, and a mixer. A mixer is very important. It's the most important piece of gear that you can have. The baritone. So, I want to make a video about this guitar. Another video I did the unboxing and first
Do you
impressions.
have some content already? Yeah.
Yes, but this one I already modded it, so you're able to see that the pickups are different. The other
pickup.
ones, it's a secret pickup, different knobs and a different tip. So what happened was, I was happy with the pickups, and I thought they were quite good. And then me and Peter were playing, and I was like, "Oh, you should try." And he tried it, and he puts it on high gain to play something heavier because this is tuned to be standard. And the pickup started to squeal. I was like, clearly microphonic, rubbish pickups. Need to change them. They were not. It's just like at high. It was just high gain.
Turn it up
probably.
high enough. Yeah.
Exactly. You can talk to pickups, but okay. So the thing is, even when I bought this, I told you straight away, I was like, oh, I already have like this Iron Gear pickup here, and it's locking tuners and everything ready to go. So I had the bug of changing this, because this guitar, for those who don't know, was £99. Since then, they have increased it. Now it's 119. It increased yesterday afternoon, sometime during the afternoon. A bunch of the East Coast.
That'll be because I keep going and looking at it.
Like, if you don't buy it now, it's going to continue to increase. Steve Cassidy, the YouTuber, bought one as well. I don't know if this was public information. He said I know he said it on the comment. The white one. So I take out the old pickups, all right, and what happens is the pickup cavity. There's no route underneath. The pick guard is completely just blue, and the hole that goes from the pickup to the controls is probably too thin, or there's something in there, because it has a cable that came from the controls to here, and then it has the shrink wrap white paper. You talk about him and he shows up. It's like he was summoned. Steve, hi Steve. So what I desoldered it, and I pulled the neck pickup, and it doesn't come. It's like, no, you gotta come out, and I pull it again, and it breaks. So the cable of the neck pickup at the moment is just a very short lead, because it broke here, and then I pull it from underneath. And then when I tried to put the new pickup into it, it didn't work. So what this black white active pickup is in fact, and I'm here trying to do a bit of math, something this it's the same as this.
Yeah.
See, it's a cover with screw holes, but with no pickup inside. So I don't have a neck pickup on this guitar anymore.
Ah.
And then what I did was on the iron gear, it has a split option. So I wired it so down is split and up is full humbucker. So before I had two sounds, and now I have two sounds, and it looks like it has something in there without being too obvious about it. Secret weapon.
Yeah, it looks interesting with a secret pickup. The only other person that I'm aware of that does something like that is Billy Joe Armstrong with
Oh,
his
really?
blue guitar. He has the Seymour Duncan in the bridge, and then the two single coils aren't connected, and they're just dialed down to the bottom. So yeah, he just uses that Seymour Duncan JB4.
Cool. So there we go. I'm quite happy with this. I took it then to play, and you asked how it was. Um, I think it sounds good, especially because it's just me and drums. So it's quite different. It doesn't have the high ends of the normal guitar, and it's not low enough to be too bassy like a bass guitar would be. It just serves as a bedrock for the drums and the voice. The thing that I always struggle with is mixing of sound. There's never sound guys, and there's and once you start playing, going to the mixer, it's always a bit challenging. So because I recorded on my phone, but it's just drums and guitar. Um, but it was I liked it. It is a bit neck heavy. The body is too light probably, but it was fine. It's not like it's doable. It's perfectly doable.
What a rave review! It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll have stronger feelings when I have more energy. Like for £99, definitely you should buy it. Everyone should buy one just to have it because it's even to really think about the theory of music and the chords and the notes that is playing are we are playing and when they are. For example, like a E generally, like the E chord is here, right? If you don't want to do a minor, you have to take off the finger, right? But if you want to have the notes that would be before that, you can't. Yes, Steve, I have taken it out yesterday. But if the E is here on the seventh, on the on the seventh top, can you hear that?
Just yeah.
Okay, and then no, what was I going on about? It wasn't this the conclusion that I got the other day. No, it's here. Huh? You can get a E sus2 because how to show this? If the E is in the shape of an A in the first chord, and then the A minor is an E minor. If you take the first finger, it's like a new chord that is not often used.
So what we're saying is it's making you rethink music theory and think even more about what it is you do, and it's making you a better guitarist ultimately.
Yeah, I think that's a really good assessment because I recorded one of my songs, put it on GarageBand and put the drums loops and recorded like acoustic and electric and baritone, and to try to play the arpeggios on it, just the and it forces me to think, okay, so if I'm playing an E here, what position should I play it on the baritone? What is the shape that corresponds to it? And so instead of just thinking of shapes like G is this shape and C is that shape, actually thinking of where the notes are and the relation between the notes and sort of circle of things that I should have studied and remembered from previous lessons. But it is what it is. Steve did teach me a few more things as well when we traded. I sorted out his audio issues for his live stream, and he told me to not play the octave on the chord. Basically, that was it that I retained. He told me more things, but
I think another lesson is needed.
probably.
Although from what I've seen and heard of yourself, Steve, I think you'll maybe be needing some more technical support at some point soon. So yeah, I'm sure that lesson will be forthcoming.
We were talking about lessons last time, and when you were here, I was messing about with guitar, and you mentioned about like, oh, it would be nice to have like songs or riffs or intros or solos on the back pocket to play whenever you go like test the guitar, or it's just with friends, or like yesterday I was actually trying to jam instead of just playing the songs that we already practiced. And I was hearing back like, I'm not really playing riffs, I'm playing notes on the scale. Which made me think of what could exist that it is not just a one-to-one lesson, that is not socially awkward, that is not limited by internet connection or proximity. Okay, and I came up with an idea. Hear me out. All right, so it's like a Patreon. Let's use Patreon as a concept, because I was reminded today by not Keith Richards, the guy that has 5 Watt World, something, Keith, something. That Patreon was created by Jack Conti. That's it.
Okay.
So Jack Conti is the guy. Do you know Pomplamoose or Scary Pockets? Yes. So Jack is married to Natalie, right? They are married, I think, still, and they were one of the first. I keep looking at my phone. It was the camera, but my camera is the computer now. One of the first music YouTubers really that I remember that they did those clips with the video. Like he would be playing an instrument or she would be playing the instrument, and the video would show the instrument that they were playing in that part of the music.
Okay.
Really heavily edited and all these things. And then they went on tour and they made no money. And it was like, how is this possible that we have thousands of fans, millions of fans, and to get anything done is really hard. So that's why I created Patreon, and he's still making music.
Okay.
So Patreon has that in mind. That's the core thing of his creation. Obviously, it has to work as a business because he's hiring people and everything. So that's why I went to it with the Patreon. A Patreon that has like 5 music teachers, let's say, and then someone is coordinating and saying like, okay, this week we're going to learn. There's 3 levels: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And for this week, we're going to learn the intro. Beginners going to learn the intro to this song, and intermediates are going to learn the solo for this song, and advanced are going to learn this really interesting technique that this guy is presenting here. And it's just the way that then the students would post that to their groups and get feedback from whatever teacher was available and from fellow peers. Possibly.
Yeah, so I like that, and to take it and just thinking out loud, to take it another level. I thought that what you were going to say was that the beginner group may do the rhythm piece, the intermediates might do a lead piece, and actually you could put it into it. You could go GarageBand, whatever.
That's even better. That's even better, actually. It's even better idea.
Yeah, I think we might be onto something now. If only we knew a guitar teacher.
I know, or someone that was good at it.
Maybe called Steve.
I don't know. It doesn't want to do it. Says it doesn't want to do things online. But if it will be really good, just to point it, it's not like lessons. It's just
and it's an experiment.
And it would work because it says, I don't want Patreon because I don't feel like it's worth. But it's like it's not paying for education and it's not paying to exist. It's a contribution to have some guidance, like a personal trainer of sorts. Let's just catch up here with the comments. Otherwise, we are ignoring our amazing audience, which is fellow YouTubers as well. So Aaron is going on about saying, I have no time for lessons. I am too busy buying and selling guitars. Yes, spot on. That is
And interestingly, he was also the one that asked about the guitars behind you.
yes, he always asks. He doesn't. He's the one that has videos on the silent guitars. I probably watch his videos when researching if I should buy them, and he's like, "Yes, yes, they're great game guitars." And now he badmouths them as they are some sort of evil creatures of the night. But you know, it's just joking. They are good, but they are not very. Um, it's not very inspiring. It's like a practical tool sort of thing. But people always comment whenever I'm playing and I'm out. They're like, "Oh,
They're
what's
cool
that?"
looking.
Yeah, and that, as I say, yes, I know Alexa. Uh, and it showcases my outfits always, which is very important. Um, so Aaron also mentions that if you can play open E, open G, and A minor pentatonic, you can buy guitars. Okay, yes, that's also a fact. If I practice instead of shopping for guitars, I would be pretty good. Yes. Well, he's already pretty good. He's being sarcastic about it, but I have a whiteboard here. I'll just show the people at home. I have a whiteboard that I installed this today to put the whiteboard here, so I can prioritize my things. But the things that I have prioritized is Eastman Juliet 1000, Fred King Chrono Custom 400, Fred King Telly 400. It's like if I sold them for this amount of money, I have this amount of money, and means that I could buy this other thing. So instead of practicing or thinking of work, I'm trying to think this.
It is.
Steve,
It is a bug.
it is. I can actually, I can show comments. I forget. the At that point, there has to be a more defined syllabus, I reckon. Multiple locators were to be involved. Oh yes, we'll have to have like meetings, like board meetings for the teachers. It's like, okay, welcome everyone. This semester we're gonna be discussing this. Okay, okay, we would be happy if it was just one person that actually knew what they were going on about. It was just more if it was a very big group, but sure. Steve forgot to hit like, so if anyone else forgot to hit like at this point of the stream, now would be a good time. A silent guitar, they ripped you off, mate. Yes, they make a bit of sounds acoustically, but they're pretty silent. Steve asks, did the guitar shop get back to you regarding the trades? No, they haven't. So I emailed Sell Us Your Guitar in Manchester to see if they will take these three guitars that I mentioned, the Juliet and the two Fred Kings, for an Eastman T59V in red that they had come in. So the T59V, for those who don't know, is a semi-hollow guitar made by Eastman with flame maple front and back in with antique varnish finish, relict Goto hardware. Instead of being shiny, it's matte, and Antiquity, Seymour Duncan Antiquity humbuckers. It's the higher end, it's the highest end semi hollow. No, it's not. It's not, because then they have the solid body semi hollows, which are like T186 MX that are 2,000 pounds. So these new are around 1,600 pounds, and they had it for 1,250. I thought maybe they'll trade all my guitars for that one. They didn't respond to me, and in fact, that guitar is already gone. So they sold straight away. But it made me think about what do I really, really want regarding guitars, which is something that I wanted to look into that. But before I do that, just going to check here. Are excited for them? Is there any piece of gear that you're looking forward to see, or are you up to date with the news, Dave?
I'm just interested in seeing the content that comes out. I've got no expectation, but some of the accounts that I follow are certainly going to be there, and I'll be excited to see what's coming out. What about you? Anything in particular?
Maybe the Blue Amp Guitar X. Blue Guitar X amp is, the Blue Amp, which is like a pedal shaped
Yes.
amp. guitar amp. They have the amp X that is due to come for the last 2 years that they've been struggling to get right, but Michael Bluk, I think that's his name, right, really wants to have it perfect, which is amp and effects, like a Helix sort of thing, but powered, so you wouldn't need a powered head or amp head or a power unit. You could just go straight into a cab. So I would like to see how that turns out. Again, it's going to be too expensive for me to actually go out and buy it straight away. But who knows? It's the thing with new gear is even if it's unaffordable at time of release, eventually it will trickle down, and a lot of the innovations that are announced at NAMM then are introduced into features. So it's like a car shows, right? When there's like
It's like the
Mercedes S
Formula One.
class,
Yeah.
exactly, it trickles down once it's invented and it's out there. And a lot of the things that I felt like we have the Harley Benton T-shirt. How did you get that T-shirt first? Did you buy a T-shirt from Toman, or did they send it to you for free?
I think they sent it because I went through a Harley Benton phase, and I pretty much completed all the kits that they had available.
Ah, right.
I think that they sent it to me. I've done a bit of
Well
business
done.
with
He's
them.
like, well done. Thank you so much for helping
Yeah.
us. There you go.
You're the guy that's buying them.
Yes. But Harley Benton releases guitars out of cycle, and many other brands do the same now. So just see one thing. Is this better? Probably it is. I don't know why I was in the dark. A lot of brands now release things not at NAMM, so I'm not really looking forward to anything in specific. So the Helix 2, for example, the Helix 2 would be cool indeed. I don't know if they're gonna do they release things at NAMM, maybe, or they announce it and then it's gonna come out. The Catalyst 2, I have no interest in the Catalyst. I have the Catalyst, the Line 6 Catalyst, which I hate, and I made a video about the problem that it has. That it has a lot of fizz. It's only that amp only really works at high volume. It's like the louder it is, the less fizz it has. So at high volume, spot on. And it has 216 ohm speakers that I put on, Eminence speakers. So it's still really heavy as a tube amp. It still only really works really loud like a tube amp, and it doesn't have that amazing sound that the tube amps do at loud volumes. It's just like, okay, it works.
So it's the worst of all worlds, really.
Yes, exactly. It's the worst of all worlds, and because they put it for sale, I can't even move it. It's like I'm gonna put it for £100 on Facebook Marketplace. Put the old speakers in. By that point, might as well just leave it in the garage and use it to go to gigs when it's appropriate. But there's nothing particularly exciting. So this stream, we are almost half an hour. I thought today, if we don't reach the hour, we don't reach the hour. I'm tired, you're tired, it's whatever. But we're already half an hour in. The title of this stream was Gear Regrets, because everyone knows that on YouTube, in order to be successful, you have to be negative about things. What are your biggest gear regrets? Come on, Dave. Tell me your regrets. You think that you hated and
Do you know, I'm such a glass half full kind of guy. So my regret from last year, for good reason. My New Year, not a resolution, but more of a wish, was to build a scratch build, my first scratch build. That didn't happen. It will happen. I have lots of the elements that I need. I've been deliberately making sure that I'm learning new skills, but the scratch build didn't happen. But it will. I actually, when you posed the question around, gear from 23, I didn't buy much in 23. So my only actual fully built guitar purchase was this Epiphone Les Paul Gold Top. I love it. It has iron gear pickups in. This is the only guitar I've modded back to standard. It came with...
you had put black pickup rings and plastics, wasn't it?
but it had like the cavity cover was made out of some kind of sellotape and cardboard, which I hadn't realised. But the action was absolutely superb. I didn't pay loads of money for it, and yeah, so I sort of modified it back to standard, and it's a great guitar.
It's
Um,
it's a what's it called when they take classic cars that were um failing, a restoration. You did a restoration on that guitar.
yeah, or a resto mod,
Yes, or
in fact
yes.
as well. So yeah, I I'd probably term it a resto mod more than anything else. But yeah, that's a great guitar. Um, Outside of that, it's been kits. It's been, you know, the Bolt, as we've discussed.
Hmm.
It's been this guitar kit fabric, Jaguar-esque guitar that I've spent a fair bit of time on, and also another Les Paul style guitar. So for me, it's been very much about building those skills, and also because I have quite a few kits, etc. already, it's rebuilding those, and doing something a little bit different with them. So I'm just, as you know, doing something a little bit different with the Bolt.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, I think one of the things, and sort of referring back to the voice note that you shared earlier on, and we should definitely get onto that. I think we we crave certain guitars, etc., and they might be out of our budget, whatever it might be. Which is why, you know, personally, I have the DG335 style guitar.
Yes.
I was never going to spend 15 grand, 10,
No.
15 grand, whatever they are right now, on a, you know, Pelham Blue DG335.
And that, sometimes I see people like, oh, I wouldn't, like, out of principles, like I wouldn't out of financial ability. It's like it's just not possible to. It's
Yeah,
like unless I rob a bank
yeah,
or
and I
decide not
see
to drive a car.
people.
It's like instead of driving a car,
Yeah,
I'm going to have a guitar. So it's never gonna happen.
yeah, and you know, I see people put Gibson logos on them, and everything, and you know, there's the counterfeitability of that,
Hmm.
but you know, I think if someone says, "Well, I'm never going to sell it," whatever, that's up to you. For me, if I've built something, I want my name, or you know, that one says Foo Fighters on it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that is how I scratch the itch of, I want, you know, a flame maple topped Les Paul. I want a DG335. You know, I did at one point decide that all of my builds would be sort of replica style guitars. You know, do a Kurt Cobain, etc.,
Ah, yes.
or
Yeah.
inspired by,
Hmm.
more than replica. Um, but that's how I get my sort of fix of, I'd like one that's like that, um, rather than the,
And
the
you
the
get
the big budgets.
the enjoyment not so much of like being in a tribute band that plays those songs and you take that guitar out, but of building the guitar and finding the pieces that put it together and that make the instrument what it is probably.
Yeah, and sort of learning about what modifications those individuals might have done. Like, you know,
Hmm.
I was saying about Billy Joe Armstrong, with his Fernandez Strat that his mum bought him out of
All
catalogue,
right.
back in the day. Um, you know, finding out those things and trying them out. You know, it might be that actually, oh, that's horrible. You know, at one phase, I'm a big fan of Queen and Brian May. I was looking for my 40th, which was longer ago than I care to admit. Sensible and productive. That's an accusation and a half. Um,
But
I
print
was
this and take it
looking
to your
for my
wife.
40th. Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks, Steve. Um, I was looking at buying a Brian May guitar, and then I realised, and it was partly by watching. Brian May has a good gear rundown, He has massive hands, and the
All right.
necks are like baseball bats.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, I couldn't get to one. It was actually in the height of the lockdown and everything, so I couldn't get to one. And I started reading reviews that all of them were glowing, and then I'd find actually I don't think this guitar would ever be playable for me.
Yeah.
So what I actually did is I bought the Harley Benton version, which I loved for a short period. Then I sold it on. Made some decent money off it actually.
Really?
Um, yeah, I was surprised. But yeah, it was a good way to scratch the itch. I may well get another one at some point. It was actually a great guitar in its own right. I just found that unless I was playing Queen on it,
It feels a bit
and then
like
I couldn't play
what
as
are you
well
supposed
as
to do?
Brian May either, it was just playing it for normal stuff just didn't seem right.
Yeah.
So it was a funny guitar in that respect, but yeah, it's just you know, um,
You were
did it
saying
have
that.
the original switching? It it did. Um, I wasn't necessarily, and perhaps still not, but I wasn't necessarily in a knowledgeable enough space to use it to its full ability.
To know
Um,
which switches were on and off on that
yeah,
specific
I
song and part.
knew I knew that it was doing something, and whether it was parallel or serial or whatever. I knew it was doing something. I struggled, and I'm a geek by trade. I struggled to understand fully, um, but I probably wasn't in that place. It was more, just trying to experience different things, hear what it does. And I think as I've progressed onto other guitars as well, it's enhanced that learning. Um, so yes, and it was one of the older version, and yeah, I think Brian May and the people that look after him have um, made
Assist and
representations
assisted.
to a number of companies that, yeah,
But I think it's fair. Like
mine had the six, and yeah, replica
what
for someone that
what they
isn't going to buy. God,
what they should do is what Philip McKnight has suggested regarding some of the designs. Is there should be like royalty credits, or not royalty credits, royalties. So you can pay the original designer or brand a royalty to use that design. Obviously, it needed to be something that was not
yeah, it's licensing.
as
Yeah,
licensing. That's it. So
yeah,
if they license design from Brian May, he would make a bit of everything that they sold, and they could be a bit more closer. Uh, it's like having instead of Fender having to make Squires to make money off from Squires, Squire would be a completely different company that would license it to Fender. All right.
I mean,
I
there,
was
there
You're
is a
saying
lot
that.
of that. I mean, Bixby, there's
Mhm.
loads of licensed Bixbys and things like that. So, yeah, it's certainly an idea. What the price point would then need to be for those guitars, not sure, but yeah, certainly don't want to be ripping someone's design off. Um, yeah,
But for
sorry, go
example,
on. You were going to ask something.
there's a guy called Matt Loxley that makes.
I know him. Yeah.
All right, I had a Loxley Strat for a while before I sold it.
Okay.
Uh, it wasn't very good, to be fair, honest. It had a 7.25-inch radius with jumbo frets, and that creates all sorts of issues. And
Okay.
the headstock holes were drilled and then covered and then painted. It was. And his guitars are very expensive, and they are Brian May's designs. With it puts like flame tops and whatnot. I don't know if he's paying anything to Brian May, but if
Yeah,
there was a
and
license,
they are, yeah, they are close enough that and they're not cheap either.
no, they're £3,000 and
They
something.
are, yeah, they're close enough that it does feel that that's something that should be paid, and there's levels, isn't there? Because you know every company and their dog have got a S style, a T style,
Mm.
but there's differences. Yeah, I think it's a case of inspired by, perhaps okay,
And
but
what they keep saying is that the T and S style, well, all the Fender shapes, I think it's all the Fender shapes really, because they didn't defend the trademark, they lost the over the body, um, and that's why Gibson continues to fight. It's not to lose it. Just because of I'm conscious of time, I'm just gonna show you. Um, what have I done?
I think I'm on my own for now. So let's have a look at the comments. So yes, Gibson, our friends Gibson. Hey Raf.
Sorry, I pressed the close button. The mouse was precisely on top of my
Your audio's improved though now.
yeah. Has it?
It
Well,
has, yeah.
all right. Maybe it was the problem with StreamYard. Gibson tried to do some sort of licensing with Echo Park guitars and a few American small builders. That was the big thing that some people said that they shouldn't do that. The builder shouldn't get themselves involved with listening because it's giving them precedent. I don't know. So, speaking of Gibson, so this was my collection beginning January 2023. I'll need to maybe make this. This
Okay,
work.
so let's walk through that then. So on the left hand side, I forget the maker of that guitar, but I love playing that guitar, and we've discussed it on numerous occasions.
It's the Pitback. It's made by Pitback, North Yorkshire as well, like Loxley. Luthier that built quite a few guitars in the 70s and 80s, apparently. It was my first guitar, and you really like it. I was telling my wife today, I don't like the shape of it, I don't like the size of it, I don't like the look of it, the headstock and everything. I don't like that it doesn't have a Bixby or a pneumatic stop tail, but whenever I sit down and play it, is the guitar that I feel most comfortable and that it sounds the most like I think a guitar should sound in my head.
Yeah, and when I played it, I think I played that single cut as well, and maybe a couple of others, and I almost didn't pick that one up. I thought, yeah, it's too thick, and yeah, I was blown away by it actually.
And I've had it fret leveled and new electronics put in to have proper CTS spots and switchcraft and everything. And it's really reliable and it works really well. And that's the only guitar out of those five that is still with me because it was a gift and it was my first guitar, so it's still there. Then
And it should, yeah,
it should, yes, yes, let's say so. My aunt will be happy about
yeah.
that.
I managed to get my first guitar back,
All right.
and
How?
I won't. So I when I used to work for the same employer that you do, I wasn't using it. One of the guys was an ex guitar tech. I think he worked with the likes of James and people like that. And I just wasn't using it, and we'd discuss it every now and again. So I'm like, oh well, have it, see what you can do with it. And then just randomly, I'd thought about it since I got back into guitar. I thought about it on numerous occasions. And I thought, I'll just ping him and just see, is it
Mhm.
how is it now? He's like, haven't really done anything with it, and this was like 20 years had passed or something
Oh
crazy.
well.
He's like, come and get it if you want. So I went and got it and played it, and I'm like, actually, this wasn't bad. It's just an encore sort of Strat style
Mhm.
guitar. I've just got it behind me actually, and yeah, really pleased to have it back. Just for posterity. So definitely keep hold of that.
And did you do anything to it since having it back?
To be honest, I may change the pickups. They are definitely microphonic, and they squeal, and they're not great. But actually, the guitar plays quite nicely. I I did a few bits just to restore it, and I'm in two minds as to whether to make it you know, whether to upgrade it or actually to leave it as is.
Just leave
And
it
at the
as is.
moment, it's leave it as is and just play it every now and again.
Very good. Then I had a Fender made in Japan Telecaster hybrid one that it's regarded as being a really good guitar because it has the Japanese craftsmanship of the body, the fretboard, and the neck and everything, and American pickups and electronics. Then a Fender Strat Performer, so made in America. Yosemite pickups that I really liked. Uh, an Eastman SB59 that again is sort of a Les Paul, but it's not quite,
Yeah.
but it is. And the Eastman T486B, which is a semi-hollow guitar. So these guitars, I was very proud because sort of it's fretboard or gear page approved sort of thing. I felt that I could be proud to show this collection to anyone that knew a little bit about guitars. It's like it's not expensive, so it's not over the top. It covers lots of ground. It's the main food groups of guitar, but the Telecaster, I was never able to get it to a playing spot that I really, really liked. The Strat, I didn't like the headstock shape. It's the big headstock shape.
Yeah.
And it's minor, but it wasn't very the thing that I liked. The SB59, it looks like it's very close to a Les Paul, but it's also quite different in the roundness, especially of the
Yeah.
horn, the lack of pick guard, and it sounded more mid-hump than other guitars, but not as Gibson-y with a punch. So it was like a soft, a rounded corners, really Les Paul. And the the T486, that is the semi-hollow, the 335 sort of style, the 60s 335. The only problem that I had was it was black, and that's the same color of the other guitar. Which, if I was gigging more regularly, and those were the two guitars that I had, it could be really cool because they're sort of in style. They're the same thing. But I wasn't gigging as much. And then when I did this in January, and at the time, I felt like I had repeat guitars, and this couldn't be. So eventually, come summertime, all these guitars had been sold. The Eastmans, the two of them to the same guy, that came and paid me with cash rolled inside a tin can of beans. He took and then he's like, "Oh, I don't have any more money." He's like, "Oh, I can drive it to
Life
Halifax
savings
back." I think I don't know if I didn't scam him because he paid for those two guitars £1,500, so £1,500 for two Eastmans. It's a great deal. He had a great deal, but I needed the money as well, so it's one of those things. And then I traded that Strat and that that Telecaster for the Fret Kings, the two Fret Kings, so the Fret King P90 single hum and Music Row, which is like a humbucker single, and the Share Gold and £200. So it's like this gave me 11 or £1,200 for those guitars. What I failed to mention was that in May I bought the Eastman Juliet, which put into high gear my thing of I have three humbucker guitars and I need to let one go, and I just bought the Juliet, so the Juliet obviously is not going. So it's sort of choices that exist, which leads me then to, so these were the gears that I had and the gears that I got and the gear that I regret selling, sort of. Not the Strats and not the Telecaster, because the thing with Strats and Telecaster is that they're such basic designs that you don't really need I'm trying to move. You don't really need a lot. I don't think they need to be very expensive to be good. The focus should be more on the pickups and how they sound, because playability wise, I never played something that's like, oh, I get it. It's like they're production line guitars made to be easy to assemble, really. They don't have like high sculpted heels, like even like perfect example, this Faisley that Steve has said was his guitar of the year. So he had a few different guitars, even the PRS Sky. Things that like the neck is apparently is the same shape as the American Standard was, the Strat. The axis here on the back is really much better
Yeah, it was
than
good.
for the Strat, and it has the ferrules.
Yeah.
And I did put new tuners. I finally put new tuners on it. Those AliExpress 10-pound ones were out finally. They were really bad. They were so bad. I don't know how they managed to. They were like hard and soft on the same tuning. Like you're trying to tune and you'd feel like go hard and then go soft and then go weak. It's amazing. These were from Northwest, and they lock from the top. It's a cool tip.
Yes, I've got a pair. Yeah, that's that.
They're quite good.
Yeah,
So even if this guitar, the East Coast, I think has a very similar model at the moment now for sale, which is £100. Okay, you get £100. You take out all the electronics. Let's say that you even go and you buy like Tone Rider and a preloaded, everything preloaded, and you spend 150 on pickups and electronics and £20 on tuners. You are at 270, and you have an amazing guitar.
and I think it's something that some people don't, or take a while to understand. If the bones of the guitar are good, then they're good. You see a lot of people that gig with, whether it's their Squire or whatever it might be. If the bones of the guitar are good, then they're good. Pickup wise, you can get great sound out of cheap pickups. It just
True.
depends on what it is that you find. And I know you've found pickups that you're happy with, and you like to use those. So yeah, very much. It's something that people that spend a lot of money on guitars could learn a lot from
And
in some
because
cases.
Fender doesn't have the only nitro guitars that they then have is the American Vintage 2, and then it's custom shop. Because until then, everything is poly, like all the other cheaper guitars.
Yeah.
So even the fact of finish, it's all solid colors. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like you can't build, or it's harder to build, like one of those Eastmans at home. How are you gonna build a
Yeah.
semi-hollow if it's not a kit? There's no way. No one has a pressing machine at home, but you can cut a bit of wood and make a body. So, which takes me then to the next point of I've been thinking of what guitar do I really, really want. I have like yearly, I tend to go through cycles of getting guitars and then selling guitars and then getting guitars. And like I just said, like there are things that I like about ones, and I also think like what other people think. It's my thing apparently. I think, oh yes, with what would other guitarists think if they see me playing this guitar, or if all that sort of crap that makes no sense really. So I think today I think 5th of January 2024 that what I like is I like bigger bodied guitars, so semi hollows, but
Yeah.
thin line with 16-inch radius sort of guitar. I like the look, but then again, I should probably try a Bixby. No, I've had the Bixby. I had the Bixby. I had the T486B, and I had the Bixby, and I like the Bixby. So I like the Bixby. The songs that I play live, some of them are by like Foo Fighters and Oasis and Kings of Leon, which they all play semi-hollows as well for 335
Yeah.
star style. A guitar that I every time that I see, and I've asked you many times, like, could this guitar be adapted? Do you think I could buy this kit and adapt it? And or what do you think of this kit, which is the Chris Cornell signature, which has the Bixby and the Filtertrons. I have played Gretsch's, and I really like the sound of Filtertrons. And it's not something that I already have, so it wouldn't clash. So I think my next guitar is going to be from the get-go a mod project. Okay.
Yeah.
And I had thought about this, about doing this sort of finish, but again, I thought what other people might think might maybe they're just gonna realize that I just couldn't do the whole body and neck of a guitar painted, and therefore this is what I settled with. But this is actually something that, now having seen it done and done well, I think it will be really cool to do. It's a Collings, so it's $6,700 new at the shop, which is a lot of money. If you're looking for a deal on a Collings, there is one for sale at Sound Effects for £3,000, a baritone with the tremolo. My image is all over the place, isn't it?
It is. You are
Okay,
jumping a
yes.
little bit.
But I saw this one that, to be fair, I also had seen someone sharing a comparison of an Eastman to a Collings. And I thought, why is that? And now I can understand, because they have like this and this. So this is the one. Let me just put on the proper. I'm right on top of the right on top of the guitar. Wrong place. My face is in the wrong place. Here we go. Okay. So, see what I mean? We have the top is one color, but then the back and sides like a Les Paul Gold top, right?
Yeah.
It's not that thoughtful. So I sent you a bunch of links today, and you were like, "Stop it! Just enough is enough." Get a hold of yourself, Rafael. Go take a breather. Go touch some grass, which is fair to say. But what I was trying to conjure is, if we took something similar or exactly, is it not here? It got so no, it's this one, right? So if I took this, okay, that already has the back and sides and the flame maple, took out the hardware. There is someone that says that they know a guy that that could do refinishing work. He works with cars, so he could paint this like a Sherwood green, metallic
Okay.
blue, pelham blue. And because it's going to be painted, I could straight away take out these holes and then drill the holes required to put the Bixby on. So that's $899 plus the Bixby, which I saw that the B70 is $199, $129, but probably there's used ones for sale, which would just lead me to either leave these pickups if I want to, because I do like these pickups, but if I want to try that Filtertron approach to put them on, the Filtertron are on 200 to 250, so it will be similar to this. For those of you that don't know, Chris Cornell Gibson. I don't. The songs I know of Chris Cornell, actually, they are Planet Acoustic, which is like a highway. I like this one. And my face once again. Is it showing? Let's see.
It is.
Okay. So you see, this is it's based on the 60s one, and the 60s one has the smaller ears.
Yes.
See? And the pickguard is the same as well, which getting a pickguard for this sort of guitars is always a faff. Alternatively, if it was one available, if it was like, if it's to change the pickups either way, G486B classic. If it's to change the pickups either way, there's always this one that already comes with the Bixby. But then again, you see the price, 14 to 899 used, just to say that the drill's already there. And the thing is, but this is the licensed B70. That's why I was comparing it to that. But I think if I can find a used Eastman either on a shop or ask for a deal or part exchange some guitars or something like that, for this might be a more affordable way to get a guitar that I would really like because I don't like the whole
Yeah, and
groundness
it's
of this one.
it's then having a guitar that you know is your own, inspired by other guitars as well, but you've made it your own, and there's definitely something to be said for that.
Yeah, the G355 or 45, the Dave Grohl one, as you said, £15,000.
Yeah,
And the more that I look at it, the less I actually like those triangle F holes. But if it was to do something like that, a good starting point would be the Emily Wolf Epiphone. And they're gonna release the Dave Grohl one. Maybe that's what's coming
yeah.
at them.
He did play at Glastonbury, I think. He played an Epiphone badged one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it will come, but then the price of the greenie that they've just released feels big money for
yeah,
an Epiphone.
yeah. And like this, I like this. This is nice. And again, the same thing could be done to this if it's just the front that you want to do. Because the problem with sides is the angles of the sides, the neck, and to strip this guitar and to use like a bolt finishing system.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be really doable on thin, like using a heat gun on a thin layer of laminates.
Well, I'll let
I
you
think.
know because I want to refinish my one, and I do
Which,
want to take it back down to the maple.
which one? Your DG?
Yeah, I'm
All
not
right.
happy with how I came out with it, so I'm going to refinish it. I think the big thing, other than the finish, is just how difficult they are to wire. And I've read a
Yes.
lot about it before I did it. And I had the aquarium tubing and everything else. It is horrible. So
What's
brace
difficult
yourself
about
for
it?
that.
Why? Why?
It's the fact
I
that
thought
all
about
that
this.
stuff has to be done through a little diamond.
Why don't I'm trying to use words. We should do this in Portuguese. Would you mind doing this in Portuguese next week? Eu falo português
We
e
can
assim
try.
depois podemos. Okay, maybe the audience wouldn't pick up on it as easily. But as
I get
easily as you, I
different
know that you're
audience,
fluent. Maybe a different audience, maybe a different
of
channel that I
course.
keep thinking about. Um, what I was gonna say is having quick connectors. So instead of having to wire the pickups and having to put like work with the pickups on the pots and everything, wire quick connector
That
wires
wasn't.
to the
Yeah.
or just
In
wires
fact,
with the quick connectors or just wires to the pickup cavities and then just wire the pickup cavities to the wires on the
I
in the hole.
bought I bought an Epiphone Pro Booker set. Whether it's a real one or not, I'm not 100% sure. But actually, I've now got them in that single cut, and they sound pretty good. But they are quick connect,
Mm-hmm.
so that wasn't the issue. You can solder outside the guitar and then drop it in. It's getting the pots into the holes and feeding the wires through. It's an absolute nightmare. So good luck with that one.
Ah,
It's a learning experience, and I managed to. I should have protected it better, and I did protect it somewhat. I managed to scuff the finish while I was doing that. So yeah, they're not that bit is not fun, but it is a puzzle.
there's also the I know a guy, I know a tech that does that sort of. It's the one that did my black guitar, and it might just like,
Okay,
yeah, that's an hour's worth of work. It's £40. Like,
it's
okay,
worth
I'll
it,
go host up an open
definitely.
mic and not lose my mind and just ask you to do the electronic bit.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
which
No, it's definitely worth outsourcing that one if you know someone that's good at it. I
I
have
ha-
considered making a control cavity, but it's got a
yeah,
carved
like
back
the
as well.
330. The
Yeah,
330, no, the Tom DeLonge one has, and they had those guitars.
yeah. I've seen them, but yeah, on a flat back that would be pretty trivial. On a carved back, somewhat more difficult. So yeah, that's one of the projects that I'll have for hopefully this year.
If I'm just thinking of ways to do that work. So if you make a straight cut instead of drilling first and then cutting, is if it was possible to cut just a cavity and then put like studs in 4 points, let's call it, that were touching the the guitar itself and the cover. You know what I'm So make a hole on the guitar, put
Mm.
like 4 pieces of wood that are slightly wider, because the screws just need to really hold the pieces together, and then
Okay,
use the piece that you cut as a cavity cover, and then
potentially.
screw those 4 bits to the studs. So
Yeah,
it's all,
yeah.
it's an idea, and I haven't tested it. I have no idea if it works or not. But on other people's projects, it's
It
easy
would
to
be,
say, isn't it?
yeah, a very nervous cut, that one.
Well, if you want as well, you don't need to go buy a DG 555. You can always get this that I just saw here. Uh,
True. Um,
a Trini Lopez. You know, it's a third of the DG 55
it's
533.
only 6,600 £5,600.
What's that among friends, my friend?
Yeah, I
I-
will.
I'll I'll give you
I'll
the money. Don't
persevere
worry. I'll just give you the money. It's
in a baked bean
or
cost.
this one. Yes, yes. Or this one is even less. 51.80.
Cheap, yeah. It's not how much you're spending; it's how much you're saving on that.
And being a limited edition, it's a custom shop. It's probably some sort of Murphy something. Uh, it's only due to go up in value. It's great investment. I'm sure that there is no loss and or risk.
I'll
Right?
persevere for now.
It's part. It's the fun is trying to sort the problems and trying to figure it out.
And
Let's just catch up.
as I've said, I am obsessed with guitars and everything about them. But I probably am more of a builder than a player. So yeah, don't take it away from me.
Okay. I'll let you start with your full build, and then the second one we might work some you might work something out for me. And it's like, no, don't do that. I'll build something for you, Rafael. I
Maybe.
mean,
Yeah, maybe.
that Novo, that's just, it's not semi hollow, so it's just like a body shape. So Steve is trying to communicate with us. He's the only person trying to, and I'm here ignoring it. So he said that a rocket will be better and cheaper than anything else on the market. Yeah, because what I had mentioned as well is, to get the semi hollow that is already built, there is heat, right? There are like the Harley Bentons and the Groats and the East Coast that are also an alternative. But then it's not a forever guitar for me. There's always going to be something at the back of my head nagging. While the Eastman,
Yeah.
I've had them, and I really like how they feel and their spec and everything. So, and it's more of a, if it's pulled out, if it's done properly. So if let's say that the paint job is done by that guy that does the car paints, and it's done well, and the electronics are done properly, and it's like fully working, it's actually a custom guitar. It's like a signature guitar,
Yeah.
rather than just being something that I put together. So that's why I was thinking with that. Yes, doing the wiring seems like something that I pull out my hair. If I struggle sometimes with hard bodies, solid bodies.
Solid
Thinking
bodies.
about that will be terrible. Solo King. I think I've seen this. Have you seen it?
I haven't. I'm just looking now.
Solo King. So Solo King, just to catch up, those of you that are unaware, is a brand that Anderton started having in inventory more recently because they went to the East Coast factory in Indonesia and they asked for a few more if they could upgrade the specs on the East Coast, and they said, well, we could, but we also have this other brand that we make in the factory that is called Solo King. You are able to see them at this shop in Nafiri, which is a shop in Indonesia. But they do have this guitar, which is 8 million rupees. I don't know if it's rupees, but let's just see how much money.
Yeah.
How much money it actually is. 8 million. Is that 8 million? GPD. That's around 400 pounds. Okay. With a hollow body with set neck construction, Canadian maple top back and side, mahogany neck, rosewood fretboard with split diamonds, Wilkinson Grover style tuners, 22 mm stainless steel frets with 12-inch radius, Wilkinson PAF. Again, it's something that I think like straight away probably needs to be upgraded, but it doesn't. It really doesn't. And then 2 volume to tone. It's, I think, to ship is around 200 pounds, and then you have to put VAT on top, so maybe that's another 100, right? So for 700 pounds.
I think when you add it up, you compare that with what my kit has cost, plus the finishing, plus the fact that I'm having to do it again, plus the Grovers that it has on it, etc. It's not dissimilar. And then it's just down to whether you want to do it yourself, I guess.
Yeah, because you're learning, so you could class it as education, really. But estimate shipping, 80,000. So let's see how much is 80,000. 80,000 is less 2 zeros. Shipping, no, it's not 4 pounds. It's not 4 pounds. This cannot. If I was to buy, let's just see. I hope it doesn't show. No, it needs a login. It's like it's gonna show like my bank details straight away as soon as I click on it. Like Apple Pay, here are your bank details. We're being helpful. This is. I'm wondering. So this is okay. So I don't know what I'm trying to do here. Okay, so England. No, doesn't show. United. Now it just shows locations in Indonesia, probably. Blackpool. There's no Blackpool in Indonesia, but I know that they do ship outside because they have a Solo King reverb shop. See here. This is okay. Here it is. Yes, 200 pounds. Buy it now. Is this with VAT?
That's pretty good.
I'm so. What have you done to us, Steve? You're like, because I'm thinking, would they do like a one-off? Yes. If I sold these 2 fret kings that I have, I could actually get this. But then again, if I'm playing their songs it's fine. But everything else,
same as
it's
the
made
Red
in
Special.
China. Exactly, like playing Kings of Leon with I think there's also this one if anyone likes, but it's not quite the same. I think if we're looking at this, we're looking at this one. Make an offer. Okay, got it. Hmm. But it makes sense because a lot of the semi hollows are indeed made in China. So if they make all the solid bodies in Indonesia, but then these ones they ask to be made in China. I'm just the items you may require to pay import duties or tax upon delivery. Okay. So it's around, let's say, £700 probably, all in all. It's like 5 cans, 5 cans of beans. No, it will be just 1 can of beans. Really, that guy has a bunch of money. I think they might be easier to get in the UK soon. Yes, Sulking being fairly close with the inspired by designs. Yes, they do have really close designs. Probably wouldn't want to go to many territories where Gibson is more influential and prevalent. If they're just doing like Indonesia and Southeast Asia, where let's face it, the wages are not the same as the Western world, I think it makes a lot of sense. Like there's no way that people in Indonesia working as musicians are going to be able to afford £5,000 for the tuning lobbies. I'm saying this, and maybe I'll be surprised. Singapore, for example, is really wealthy. So, but Indonesia is a different thing. Because Sulking, Anderson's has a deal with Sulking, but they're not even selling the same guitars, and they're putting the Allen Entwistle pickups for some reason I don't quite get. Johnny Love, thank you so much for coming on today. And it says, keep forgetting you and Steve do the live streams now, but you've hit the bell, so should be notified. Thank you, Johnny. It's Fridays at 8:30 that we're doing this. Well, I might have Steve one of these times. He's like, I have people on, and he was like, yes, but we had thought about this. Like, but you need breaks. You have a family to contend with. I also have a
Absolutely.
family to contend
Yeah.
with, but yes, so looking actually say Dave Grohl in the title.
I noticed that. Yeah.
Dave wouldn't mind. Dave is such a nice guy. He doesn't care about these things as money. He's already made his millions. I was actually trying to
He's got
record.
enough.
Yeah, I was trying to something that I thought about a bunch of times, like Foo Fighters, 3 guitarists, a bunch of guitar tracks every song.
Yeah.
So I got a backing track that is just drums and bass for Everlong, and I want to try to record a cover of it, and the video, and make a video out of it. So the video is trying to learn and trying to work out the parts, trying to decide which guitars fill which roles, sort of thing.
Yeah, like it.
And then put it up. So the video is not just the cover. The cover is like at the end, and then the video is the story of thinking about it. Because Everlong was one of the first songs that I learned when I found about drop D on a classical guitar. I was already playing for a while. It's like oh, this song, and I told there was this girl that played guitar as well there. And it's like, it's really cool, isn't it? It's like, and she's like, yeah, I don't know it, but it's like, that's easy. Why are you so excited about it? It's like, I know it's easy, but I didn't know how to play it, and now I do.
So what's your top 3 drop D tunes then now?
I don't play much drop D at the moment. Jimmy Eat World, the middle. I play that one.
Yeah.
Everlong. And Fat Lip, which I try to play. I don't play it live. I don't know the whole song, but it's the Sum 41 that has that riff.
Yes.
Do you have any favorites? Drop D.
I would have to go Everlong. I would go Psycho by Muse.
All right.
And I would go Heart Shaped Box, Nirvana.
Ah, yes, indeed. Good shot.
And then Slither for bonus points.
Yeah, I don't think I'm so.
It's Slash. Yeah.
Okay, so you said that, which reminded me, the guitar club gym thing. So, and we're gonna think about it. It's gonna be a thing, but I think it will be cool to have some sort of collective that we could encourage each other to learn. The problem is always choosing songs and like why we're choosing these songs and why we're learning what we're learning. But even if it's like a guitar shop playlist sort of thing of songs to try guitars. If you want, I want to pick up a guitar and I want to try to play something in the first three chords.
That's a really good shout.
Okay, and then there's something here. What do I learn for here? Okay, and then something that connects everything. Okay, and then something just says widdly up here. That's not very hard, but it's impressive and sounds good.
Yeah.
And then
like it. I'll sign up. Let me know when we're starting.
Yeah, there's and I was saying Patreon, and now Patreon has a free. You don't need to have like a community of just paying people. It can be like a free, just like a social media hub. So I might look into that and try. Even if it's it's just the two of us, we'll learn.
I'm up for it.
All right, thank you so much, everyone that stayed around or there's going to watch this live stream later on. We're going to continue to try to do them every week. It's a bit of an ask. It's a bit of a time sacrifice that we all do, but it's fun and it's a good opportunity to catch up and to talk guitar and to wonder and to dream and to record our experiences as we live them through these challenging years of the 2020s. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks,
if you
everyone.
want to say thank you to the people, I'll let you. And then bye-bye. I see you all next time. Cheers.
Bye.